I'm Darren Karp, and on with me now from The Amazing Race is the power couple, Alana and Leo. How are the two of you doing today?
We're doing good.
Doing all right. Thanks for having us.
Of course. Now, you two joined the race as a couple, and you got married in September. Congratulations. I mean, 2020 has been a whirlwind, and that is awesome. Were you nervous at all that this was going to put your relationship to the test, Alana?
I mean, that's why I wanted to go on the show, right? Like, we had been dating, so much of our relationship had been this casting process, and the very first episode was our 10-month anniversary to the day. Like, we were a baby couple, and I was like, all right, well, if we can do this, then we can literally do anything. And then we did really well, and Leo was like such an incredible partner in every sense of the word.
So was Alana.
Yeah, I mean, I think Leo came in with a lot of confidence in general. Mm-hmm. And I came in with like hope.
To the race and to relationship.
And everything. Yeah, truly. And I came in with a lot of hope, but like, you know, we've all been burned. And I was like, who knows if this guy is forever? And
men are dogs.
That's true.
Listen, I'm gay. I understand that completely. Okay, Leo?
You've heard?
Yes, I've heard this. And last week on the episode, Leo, you said that you weren't coming into this looking for a test that Alana, you weren't looking for it. But what about you? Did you sort of get that validation that maybe you didn't think that you needed, but you got anyway?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would say that sometimes overconfidence can be a weakness of mine, but also a superpower. So like coming into the relationship and the race, like I said, I felt so good about what we could do. I'm not saying that you never know, I guess, but like I knew we could do our best, and I felt like it would be really, really good what we could do in both areas. And then we did encounter some challenges that I, couldn't have foreseen, needing to support each other in ways that I didn't realize we would need to, because we hadn't been together for that long. Just understanding how each other deals with stress, and in particular, there are some times when you can't solve a problem for your partner. I couldn't help Alana with a lot of things. She couldn't help me with a lot of things, like the oil barrels or the counting. We had no way of helping each other than just
the difference between spears and flags, I'm sure, haunts you both so much. If I know the two of you, it was frustrating. It must have been frustrating for you two to watch, considering the fact that you were eliminated in the second of 2 episodes last week. Now, Leo, be honest, you think it's unfair that Kaylin and Haley were saved by a non-elimination leg? I mean, they have the best luck out of any team I've ever seen on The Amazing Race.
Yeah, they're lucky. I don't think it's unfair. That's just the way the race goes. It's bad luck on our part that the first leg we finished last was not a non-elim. Yeah. And that's the way it goes for most teams. And I mean, if they had been saved once and then another team had been eliminated, we've talked about this, as you can imagine, endlessly. And they're non-elims, the other team's helping each other. None of that actually impacted when we left the race. We've gone through all the scenarios. At the end of the day, we weren't able even close to getting through that challenge.
Yeah, we just couldn't count to 5. Or we didn't know to stop at counting at 5. And that's really, we self-eliminated. We talk about that all the time.
We're actually so good at counting. We got all the way up to 18, and then we were like, we can count 16 too.
Oh, such a mess.
You guys were just proving yourselves to America. That was all it was. It wasn't a matter of not being able to count.
Like a 4-year-old who can count.
Overachievers, I can tell. Now, Alana, in Kazakhstan, Kaylin and Haley chose to use their yield on YouTube, even though you guys chose not to yield them in Berlin. Rewatching this, how do you feel? Do you feel slighted, or is it just part of the game?
I mean, I think it's part of the game, right? Like, I think if we had been in their position, we would have done the same thing, because you're really just trying to make sure that you're not in last. Like, the reason why Leo didn't help Haley and Kaylin in Berlin was because we didn't want to compete with them for last. That's the same reason they yielded us. I will also say that the 20-minute yield was not the difference in us winning and losing. I think we were like 45 minutes behind Aparna and Ishwar, which was obviously the very first thing I asked Phil at the mat when I stopped crying. So like, even if they hadn't yielded, we still would have been out. Like, it was just a rough lake for us. Like, there was no coming back from the spears.
Well, I'm curious, because watching the episode back, Leo, do you think that if James and really everyone had not egged on the sisters to do this, would they have acted any differently? Because it did seem in their mind that they were very hesitant, at least from where I was sitting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think they wouldn't have. I think it was pretty clear. They walked up to it and they're like, nah, we don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's salt in the wound. But you saw after I didn't help Haley very much at the tower in Berlin, she was like, all right, I guess we're not really doing this anymore. And that's sort of how I felt too. Like we were fighting for last basically in both situations. But yeah, like you said, it sure didn't look like they were going to yield us. And I think like it's interesting, like the peer pressure, and I think it did get them thinking. Like maybe they should have actually just yielded us, and then they weren't going to because they're nice, and then James obviously wanted to be
it wasn't even
strings.
only James though. Like we were yielded by every single other team. Like I feel honored that so many people thought we were a threat while we were like holding on by a thread to last. Like
well, I was gonna say it's kind of a backhanded compliment because even Will and James were kind of like, they're our biggest threats. They're our biggest threats. I'm
James
curious.
was obsessed with us.
It just happens when you're really good looking and you own 2 cats. This is your lot in life, guys.
It's true.
Have you spoken to Kaylin and Haley since then? And have you guys made amends? Are you all friends now?
Yeah, we're really close with them. They were in our wedding party.
They were at our wedding. Yeah,
we visited them in Charleston. The whole cast is very close, but we've always had a special relationship with them for some reason, which is, why we helped them in Bogota in the first place.
Yeah. They drove 18 hours in a car because of COVID to come to our 3-hour wedding. And then they turned around and drove back the same day. Like if that's not friendship, I don't know what is.
Wow. That isn't any other teams at your wedding, or was it just them?
No, it was just them. Although
we had invited everyone.
Yeah,
and then we downsized to our backyard.
Yeah, so we just invited our wedding party because of this whole situation we're in.